Hey, what's up, y'all? Come on in here. Welcome to The Uplift. We have a great show for you today and a great cast of characters. Volunteers from the U.S. who formed a human chain in Ukraine to help bring ambulances to areas in need. A librarian who caught a familiar name in her spam folder, Obama, and how she and the former president ended up connecting on social media. Meet an inspiring dog who was hit by a car but stayed resilient and learned how to walk on his hind legs. An NFL player with an interesting side hustle during the offseason. And go inside a unique museum that doesn't house artifacts, it has toys instead. All of that plus some heartwarming videos you just need to see. You are watching The Uplift. Welcome to the show. This is The Uplift, the show that lifts you up for at least the next 30 minutes. I'm Nate Burleson. We begin with an NFL player who has an unlikely side gig. Here's Adriana Diaz.
During the NFL offseason, Cincinnati Bengals punter Drew Chrisman has one job: keeping his legs in shape.
Thought about doing the Peloton route, but the frugal side of me just could not pull the trigger. But I found another way to get a good workout in while riding a bike.
There you go.
Doing food deliveries for DoorDash. Yes, Chrisman, who makes about $1 million a year, is spending the summer delivering food in Cincinnati, near where he lives with his wife and one-year-old.
You could have just ridden your bike as your workout outside.
Or if I had to climb a hill to drop a Subway sandwich off to somebody, I think I found that a lot more appealing to get an extra burst of workout in.
There you go, yeah.
While I was delivering.
You too.
So what did your wife think?
She thought it was crazy.
Okay, enjoy.
The eccentric qualities that I have a little bit, for better or for worse.
Definitely for the better. Chrisman says the bike afforded him a new perspective, traveling down roads he'd never been down before.
You see a need.
Do you mind if I buy you a meal?
People panhandling, just asking for any kind of thing. And,
Sure, thank you.
Yeah.
it kind of tugged at me.
So he started using his DoorDash earnings to deliver generosity with free food, cash, or sometimes just conversation.
Working hard or hardly working?
Seeing that smile, seeing, their face light up. No one's ever regretted, making someone else's day.
I got baked.
He posts it all on social media, hoping to spread both the spirit of giving.
When he called, we had no idea it was Drew, the kicker from the Bengals, our favorite team.
And the word about local businesses like Your Mom's Pizzeria. Owners Tracy and Pete Ianni say sales jumped 25% after Drew posted himself giving away their pizza.
He's giving it to people that maybe didn't have money to buy lunch. And then in return, our small business has now been thriving.
There's a stereotype of professional athletes as maybe being pampered or overpaid.
That is not true in all cases. Not with our Drew.
What's up?
He is just a down-home, good human.
What's going on, buddy? Come here.
I love how you call him our Drew.
Our Drew. We love our Drew.
Where does that urge to give back come from?
I think a lot of it has to do just kind of how I was raised. A lot of credit to my parents. I thought being a Cincinnati Bengal was going to fulfill everything in my life. Part of me missed that, a little bit of that charitable side. And I love football. I like football, but I love giving back. I love helping people.
And as he jumps into training camp, he'll be fighting to make the cut.
You're defending your spot on the team. What do you say to critics who might argue that this is all a publicity stunt?
People are going to try to pick apart anything you try to do. I've certainly received a lot more support than I have any kind of criticism.
What do your teammates say about all this?
Kind of chuckle, be like, wonder what kind of tip they would leave, honestly.
You Valentina? Hi.
You once gave a big tip to someone who wasn't expecting one at all.
You make the majority of the money off the tip.
I know I put $0 on the tip.
Being able to leave a generous tip was something I wanted to share with another DoorDasher.
I do have a tip for you, so.
She totally didn't expect that.
Thank you.
No.
You know how much I need today.
You never know the ripple effect that can have, who they might be able to give back to later that day.
Donuts.
Proving it's not the gift, but the giving that pays it forward.
Ready? Go.
That's a great side hustle. You do something good for the community and you get to work out at the same time. I mean, that's a guy I would like to kick it with. Get it? Kick it with? You'll get it later. All right, about a year ago, our Steve Hartman met a dog named Dexter who inspired people because after he was hit by a car, he walked on his hind legs. Now, Steve is giving us an update on that resilient dog.
A lot of dogs think they're human, but Dexter takes it to a whole nother level, to the point where I can now safely say, I have seen everything. As we first reported about a year ago, Dexter lives in Ouray, Colorado, where this bicolor, bipedal Brittany Spaniel turns heads wherever he goes. Dexter's owner, Kenty Pasick, says this isn't a trick she taught. It's an adaptation he made after a near-death experience.
Hey, come on.
When Dexter was a puppy, he escaped his yard, darted into traffic, and got hit by a car. He lost one front leg and the other was badly damaged. So everyone assumed, to get around, he would need some kind of adaptive equipment.
And he did use a wheelchair for a while, until one day when Kenty set the pooch at the foot of her porch without the wheelchair.
And I ran in to go get my cup of coffee, came out, and he was right here where he is right now. And I was like, how is this going on?
How did you figure it out?
I put him back down there and I grabbed my phone to see what was going on.
Here is the video she recorded.
And I was like, oh, we're into something totally different.
You never know where life's gonna take you.
You never know.
Since we first told this story, Dexter, who was already a minor celebrity in Ouray, has become a major celebrity across the nation, taking to the skies for appearances in TV shows and pet expos. He has pranced in the shadow of New York skyscrapers and Washington's cherry trees. And along the way, this dog has gathered more fans and followers than a lot of our most popular humans.
Follow him on Instagram. Oh, good.
The whole thing takes absurdity to new heights. But to many, Dexter is no joke. In this pile of mail he receives monthly
Comes in droves.
are hundreds of letters of heartfelt gratitude.
I'm recovering from intensive radiation treatments for breast cancer, and you certainly bring joy to my day.
Where humans see obstacles,
Just
often dogs beg to differ.
Dexter shows us, why aren't you out there doing the things you want to do? Because he has. Off he goes.
And in doing so has proven that sometimes getting knocked down is the only way to see how tall you stand.
Two things Steve will do: teach you a lesson and pull at those heartstrings. Okay, coming up, why is there an endangered lizard, an armadillo, and a Madagascar cockroach at the airport? Chris Van Cleve tells us the story behind these traveling animals. Plus, some heartwarming videos you need to see.
Nope, stay down, I'm on vacation. And I'm drowning.
That was a viral video of Shaquille O'Neal on vacation in Hawaii. He pretended to need rescuing, and a group of kids, they all got together and tried to help the retired 7-foot NBA superstar, but he might have been a little too big. He's going to need the lifeguard, the Coast Guard, and all the point guards he played with to save him. All right, we have another uplifting video for you. This one shows a new grandpa named Leonard meeting his grandson for the first time. He was, let's just say, very overwhelmed with emotion when he heard the baby's name.
Well, we signed the birth certificate already, so it's his name.
Oh, that's locked in.
Oh, nice.
I know, it's Lawson Leonard Kreiser.
What? Are you serious?
Yeah, that's his name. Yep, that's his name, Dad.
Lawson Leonard is the baby's name. Leonard, of course, after Grandpa. The Leonard legacy lives on. Animals from the Philadelphia Zoo take monthly trips to the airport. How come? Chris Van Cleve tells us.
You've seen the airport dog passengers can pet, but how about petable giant bugs?
Madagascar hissing cockroaches, they can be 3 inches long, which is huge.
No snakes on a plane here. Instead, there's an eye-catching endangered lizard lounging in the terminal.
How cool is that?
And fan favorite Camilla, the armadillo, on the move.
Did you expect to see the zoo at the airport today?
No.
Once a month, the nation's first zoo takes some of its favorite animal ambassadors on a trip to the Philadelphia airport.
Most people don't come to the airport and expect to fall in love with Camilla the armadillo.
Danny Hogan, giant cockroach in hand, from the Philadelphia Zoo.
We discovered that not only are we enjoying this, the animals are getting a lot of enrichment, but the guests here at the airport are loving this experience.
Turns out this face will stop a traveler faster than a flight delay.
Looks fake at first, and when you start to see it move, it made Dad jump a bit.
The Singer family is heading to Dallas, but not before a surprise safari for 5-year-old Madison.
Yes, it's very fun for them because she's a little nervous about the plane, so I think it got her mind off that.
Big smiles from happy flyers on a day when the airport was definitely a zoo.
Absolutely love that. Coming up, a visit at a museum that isn't filled with artifacts and art, but instead pinball machines, video games, and Tickle Me Elmo. What's the story behind this unique place? Plus, how did this library in California team up with former President Barack Obama? Through TikTok. We'll tell you in just a bit. When you think of a museum, you might think of old masters on the wall and artifacts on display behind glass. Jamie Wax found a museum that's all about playing.
Welcome to the Mecca of play. A space where your inner child can let loose, and the games of your dreams are quite literally larger than life.
Oh, man, that was painful. So close.
It's these reimagined interactive exhibits that fill the Strong National Museum of Play in Rochester, New York.
Steve, I feel like I'm in the middle of a video game right now.
Steve Dubnyk has been CEO of the museum since 2017 and is overseeing the current expansion.
What is this expansion going to do for this place, adding 90,000 more square feet?
So play is an ever-evolving topic, right? And how people play changes constantly. And we saw in the mid-2000s that video games was an area that people were really using to evolve their play forms into. And so as video games grew as a topic and how people play, we needed a way to collect and preserve that history. And we just really ran out of room in our existing facility to do that.
In the expansion wing, visitors will find supersized versions of their favorite video games, explore the interactive exhibits, and learn the history of the technology.
This is the periodic table behind us and next to us of video game elements. Just tell me, this is sort of like the science of play, basically, right?
So every game you play, you're doing something. You're moving, or you're solving, or you're creating, and so on. And so our academic team really recognized that and came up with this concept of forming that into a periodic table of video game elements.
In addition to the expansion, there's still plenty of room for older games and toys, like early versions of Barbie, as play historian and vice president for exhibits John Paul Dyson showed us.
This is Charles Darrow's round Monopoly set from his own home from the 30s, and everything is handwritten, hand-drawn on this.
This is the very first version of Monopoly that he created.
We also got to explore the vast basement area of the museum.
This is a chance for us to really preserve and document the history of play in all its forms,
which houses an array of pinball treasures, oddities, and some original designs.
We had the prototype for Tickle Me Elmo here in the museum. Actually went through a couple different versions, but one of the guys who created it, this guy Greg Hyman, he also created this toy Alfie, which was one of the first electronic toys. Yeah. And here you can see not only the finished product, but also the first prototype here, which is amazing.
We sat down to discuss all of these things and the very serious nature of play.
What's the definition of play to you?
To me, at least, on some level, play is fun. If we're not having a good time, we maybe are not playing. You know, we learn so much when we play. We build friendships when we play. It's how we learn to deal with the way life just throws curveballs at us. When you see children playing, they're learning how to deal with a world that changes all the time. And so as adults, we take those skills and hopefully we keep playing too.
When the museum was founded in 1969, it was originally called Margaret Woodbury Strong's Museum of Fascination. Since then, the museum has adapted the play mission, acquiring the National Toy Hall of Fame. Today, there are playgrounds, a reading adventure, and even a rope course to explore.
So there's interactive elements, whether that's you're pretending to be in a pet, instead of pet care center, or you're playing a video game that was maybe one you played when you were younger. It's a great chance to animate play in a museum setting. It's a little bit different than most museums.
Yeah. And that difference is one that can definitely be felt. Playfully, yes, but also meaningfully.
What can we learn from play that might help move us forward?
Play is this wonderful means of just bringing people together. And you see that on a playground. It doesn't matter their background, they're just playing together. And so, in that sense, I think play is a model that it's not about what I'm getting. It's about the experience overall, and how can we make this a joyous experience for all of us.
As a 80s baby, sign me up. All right, a librarian in Woodland, California recently spotted a name in her spam folder that she couldn't believe. It was Obama. And what unfolded next was a partnership on TikTok. Here's CBS Sacramento's Rachel Wolf.
This is wild.
Woodland librarian Sarah Day couldn't believe it when her coworker showed her a message found in their spam folder.
I just so happened to come across one that said the Obama Foundation, and I said, this is not real. I said, this must be junk.
But a quick search of the sender's name proved positive. This was a message from the founder of the Obama Foundation asking to collaborate.
We just were talking to his social media team at the Obama Foundation and what their plans were and what they kind of wanted to do.
They wanted to highlight banned books. The library wanted to highlight services.
Because libraries get the rep of being just books, so people are like, I don't really read, I don't need it. But libraries are so much more than that.
So they combined forces and it was a huge hit.
And of course, you've got to borrow a book. Hey, Henrietta.
Including Henrietta the cat, their internet sensation. Through the power of editing, they were able to take the cross-country clips and merge the messages.
Great that we're like on the map and we're being recognized for how awesome we are.
They didn't actually meet President Obama.
They said not this time, so who knows what the future will hold.
But it's all in fun.
Like silly things that make us look silly, and I think the public and our patrons really love that.
Yeah. The focus to encourage reading.
It just makes me feel really proud. I'm very proud of everything we have to offer, from like programs of story times to, things for adults, children, and teens.
Who knows? Maybe Henrietta the cat will team up with a presidential pooch. Now that's a tale that needs to be told.
That is a story that needs to be told. I love that. All right, coming up, meet volunteers from the U.S. who formed a human chain to bring ambulances and aid to areas in Ukraine that need them. We now introduce you to volunteers from the U.S. who formed a human chain across Ukraine to help places in need. Here's Ramy Inocencio with more.
A human chain to support Ukraine.
Here's a heavy one.
Loading 4 reconditioned ambulances to make the long-distance drive from London to Lviv.
Thank you.
It's hard to believe I'm standing here.
Terry Mangan is from St. Michael's, Maryland.
It's kind of the equivalent of driving from where we live on the East Coast to Lincoln, Nebraska.
But that was just half his journey. He had first flown from Washington, D.C. to London to join up with this convoy.
It required no thought.
What motivated you to make that journey across the Atlantic, across Europe?
The frustration that I hadn't really been able to do anything, and then finding out that my dear friend was doing what he was doing.
His dear friend is Phil Fletcher, his old roommate at Georgetown University.
The humanitarian need in the Ukraine remains extraordinary.
With family and friends, they raised $20,000 to buy and repair one of these British ambulances.
The suspension is fixed, tires are fixed, various spare parts are replaced.
To replace those destroyed by Russia, and to meet the needs of more wounded in the war. soldiers and civilians. We rode further on with Mike Pitney to the capital, Kyiv.
They're doing such a professional job.
He's been driving donated ambulances to Ukraine for 11 years, before the war.
It must be so emotional for you coming every single time.
There is a certain amount of feeling like home.
What's your message to Americans who will be watching this?
What you've got used to, because it's on the TV, it's followed by media, etc., will seem very old to you. But to the person who's just had their house bombed and doesn't have a home, to them that can feel like the first day of their war.
We hear you. We hear your pain. We're here to help. Yeah, we wish this would end.
There we go.
With the end of the war out of sight, he's proof it can be anyone's first day to support, just like him.
That's our show. I hope this news brightened up your day and lifted you right on up. That does it for me. I'll see you guys next time.